Hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Swag Kage, and we're on a what if scenario video. What if Minato never died? This would be an interesting one. I'm hoping he's going from like, what if he didn't die when he had to fight Obito and, you know, sacrificed himself to get the Gyubi into Naruto and that. I'm hoping this is like a, what if that scenario went a little bit better and we carried on? Minato would probably raise Naruto, and I feel like Naruto would be really tough as a kid. It'd still be fun, but he'd be better equipped with his jutsus and stuff as he's growing up, because he's not just going to be by himself and wanting to cause trouble and, you know, try and impress people in other ways, you know, trying to stand out, because, you know, everyone treated him like a poop. So let's see what Swag Kage has to say.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hi.
So today we're delving back into the world of what-ifs and hypotheticals that don't necessarily deal with characters fighting each other. The topic for today is what if Minato never died? So to be more specific, what if he hadn't been killed during the fight with Obito?
Right, okay,
Everything
cool.
else surrounding this event will still happen the same way. So
Okay.
Kushina will still have the Nine Tails extracted from her, she'll still be killed, but let's just say Minato decided to let her seal the Nine Tails inside of herself instead. He didn't use the Shikifujin or anything else that would have caused him to lose his life. So then following this, he would go on to raise Naruto by himself.
Oh,
Before I
wow,
go any
interesting,
further,
okay.
I know that there's a filler arc about this exact topic, but I don't necessarily agree with its interpretation of things. And I also don't like Naruto filler. Haven't really seen a whole lot of it, and I'll admit that I haven't watched this arc from beginning to end either. Not to mention, it's not really even presented as some sort of alternate universe or timeline in the story. It's a dream that Tsunade has while hypnotized by the infinite Tsukuyomi. So it's not like it's the end-all, be-all answer to the question posed in this video. Anyway, if things go as I described them at the beginning, this obviously changes a lot.
A lot,
The person this affects the most substantially is, of course, Naruto. But before we get to him, let's talk about the immediate aftermath of the Nine Tails attack. So there was some confusion following this whole kerfuffle that led to the Uchiha being suspected to have some amount of involvement in the attack. Sharingan can control the Nine Tails, there had already been some tension between the Uchiha and the village, yada yada yada. But the thing is, here, Minato got the impression that Obito wasn't like a regular person, and even asked if he was Madara. Since many people, like a lot of people, were willing to believe that Madara could still be alive and well,
he's still there somewhere,
while retaining a lot of his power as late as the Fourth Shinobi World War. I feel like if Minato brought up this whole Madara thing to the village council, they would be significantly less suspicious of the Uchiha clan as a whole. When Madara left the village, he also distanced himself from the Uchiha clan, so if he was still alive somehow at this point, it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that he was acting independently
on his own,
not in the interests or under the orders of the current modern-day Uchiha clan. There may be a couple people who disagree with this assessment, particularly Danzo, but I don't think Minato would let the Uchiha suffer any serious consequences from this, at least not without personally investigating the matter any further, which he'd be able to do pretty easily because he left a flying Raijin mark on Obito's back during the fight. So what would probably happen following this, after taking a few days to prepare, Minato would pursue Obito, likely accompanied by some pretty powerful ninja. That would be interesting, that would be cool. Either. If Minato was really still under the impression that this guy was strong enough to be Madara, there are only a handful of people that I can imagine Minato would see as strong enough to be worth asking, but Fugaku is probably one of those people. And this is a big deal, because if Minato asks Fugaku to accompany him, this not only helps ensure the success of the mission to capture or kill Obito, but it also asks as a gesture of good faith to allow the Uchiha clan to prove that they're innocent.
That's
if
cool.
they're willing to help kill the guy who attacked Konoha
then
with the
surely
Nine Tails,
that
well,
lowers
makes it
some
look
suspicion
a lot
there.
less
That's class.
likely that they were actually involved in it, especially given all of the like Madara stuff. So anyway, Minato would probably go with like Fugaku and Hiruzen, Jiraiya, and teleport them directly to Obito's location. And at this point, as strong as Obito is, he kind of didn't do well at all in the fight against Minato, and in the original timeline, Minato wasn't killed by anything Obito did, but just by a stray attack from the Nine Tails that he was trying to save Kushina from. And even then, he survived that attack, and only really died because he used the Reaper Death Seal. So, without the Nine Tails at his disposal, Obito would be staring down someone who has demonstrated that they are more powerful than him. In addition to Fugaku, maybe Hiruzen, maybe Jiraiya, maybe other people of similar power.
Though,
and his only options would be to either die or flee into the Kamui dimension. Now, the Kamui dimension thing might actually work. I don't think anybody would be able to pursue him there. Maybe Minato could, but even if we assume he can't, Obito can't just stay in there forever.
Just chilling. Like, they'll never get me now.
But even if he doesn't have to eat because of his Zetsu cells or whatever, if he wants to keep working on the Eye of the Moon plan, he can't stay in Kamui forever.
No,
he has to come out.
He has to do something.
And as soon as he does, Minato can just teleport to him again and again and again, so on and so forth. But it might not even get to that point. Obito might not be able to retreat into Kamui fast enough to save himself from taking damage from Minato, potentially lethal damage. As we saw when he fought Conan, he couldn't save himself from the paper bombs that Conan threw at him. He wasn't able to escape in the Kamui fast enough. And hopefully we can all agree, paper bombs or not, Minato is faster
than that,
than Conan, like a lot faster. His whole thing is that he can teleport. So I think no matter how you slice this, at some point Obito's gonna die. Minato's gonna track him down and kill him, maybe with a group of people at his side, maybe not. Doesn't really matter. Obito cannot avoid him forever. I think the most interesting way that this could go down, albeit it's the most unlikely way, is that Minato might notice something when Obito uses the Kamui transportation technique. He didn't pick up on it the first time they fought. So maybe after seeing Obito suck himself into the Kamui dimension, he'll notice that there's like some sort of portal, and the core or like event horizon or whatever of like the entrance is centered around the hole in Obito's mask where you can see a Sharingan at. Now, this would cause Obito's Sharingan to be a really big focal point for a couple seconds. And Minato, as the guy who trained both Kakashi and Obito, may
probably
have a sudden epiphany here. He may think to himself, gee, it sure is weird that this Madara Uchiha, like ultimate Uchiha, strongest Uchiha ever guy, only has one Sharingan. Wouldn't it make sense for him to have two? Like, what did he do with the other one? Because at this point,
he probably would clock on,
he knows somebody who also only has one Sharingan. And that Sharingan happens to be in the eye opposite the one that Madara's is in. But then Minato may also remember that the person he's thinking of is Kakashi, who received this Sharingan from Obito, whose dead body he never actually saw.
So then that'd be an interesting one. Maybe clock on, wouldn't he?
And this Madara person may not actually be Madara. It would be even easier for him to reach this conclusion if Fugaku was with him when he saw Obito use Kamui, because he could ask Fugaku, hey, is there any reason for somebody as strong as Madara to just like, get rid of a whole entire Sharingan? And Fugaku would be like, well, no. Sometimes Uchiha, like, burn out their Sharingan by using their Mangekyo powers
too much.
And that weird warpy portal power seems strong enough to be a Mangekyo power. But the thing is, a well-known tale told throughout the Uchiha clan is that Madara killed his younger brother and stole his eyes. I know this isn't actually what happened, but I'm just saying this is what Fugaku would tell me. Is that Madara killed his brother and took his eyes so he could unlock the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, as in Mangekyo Sharingan that never go bad.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the
there really is no reason whatsoever for him to discard a whole entire
Sharingan eye.
Sharingan. Which, it would help Minato reach this Obito conclusion a lot more quickly. And if for some reason they weren't able to get him, like, no matter how many times they tried to follow after him with the flying Raijin Jutsu, Obito just kept sucking himself up in the Kamui to keep himself safe. Worst case scenario, they would identify him as Obito, and then they'd go back to the Leaf, and they'd be like, hey, Kakashi. You've got one of Obito's Sharingan.
Do you want to maybe try and tap into this little dimension thing he's got?
Train it up to be a super duper, like, Mangekyo Sharingan. We'll have Fugaku, or whatever Uchiha clan member, train Kakashi to help him unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. And then what would happen is Kakashi would then accompany Minato, Obito's location, after training to use Kamui more effectively, of course. And then, Obito would try to warp away, and then Kakashi would be like, Kamui! So through one turn of events or
this
another,
really
Obito
cool
is
scenario
getting taken care of if Minato survives his fight with him. There's just no way I see that not happening. This has pretty big implications for the rest of the story, of course. First of all, the Uchiha clan wouldn't have to worry about any of the stuff that led to the Uchiha clan massacre happening. They wouldn't be sectioned off into their own weird
because people wouldn't be suspicious of them.
And they wouldn't be treated as poorly as they were when they were suspects in the Nine Tails attack. So the Uchiha clan would be safe unless something else happens that would lead to them performing an entire coup against the whole village. But unless I'm missing something, I don't think there's anything left that could cause something something like that to happen, and this means that Itachi would never join the Akatsuki, and of course Obito would be dead, so he wouldn't be there to lead the Akatsuki.
Oh my
The
god.
group would be without two of its most powerful members, and would also see a change in leadership. Now, on the surface, this wouldn't change a whole lot, because most people thought that Pain was the leader of the Akatsuki the whole time anyway. But this may change the group's approach to recruiting new members, and speaking of its other members, Orochimaru wouldn't ever be kicked out, unless he tried to take Pain's Rinnegan or something like that, but I can't see him being
trying to do that
reckless. No. So Orochimaru would stay in the Akatsuki for a little bit longer, because Itachi wouldn't be there to tempt him to steal his body. Now this is all assuming, of course, that Orochimaru is even able to leave the village in the first place, because in an interview after the series concluded, Kishimoto specified that despite what the manga originally said, Orochimaru actually left the village a few years following Minato's death, which is why he was confronted by Hiruzen and not Minato. If the rumors of people disappearing and all of that start to crop
Minato
up, and
would,
it becomes Minato's responsibility to investigate them, then since he has no real personal connection to Orochimaru, aside from the fact that the guy is the friend of his teacher, I can see Minato just killing Orochimaru, like, on the spot without much hesitation. The guy's doing some pretty nasty stuff, and even though Minato's a nice guy, seeing all of the equipment for human torture and experiments, and all of the stray body parts,
he would definitely not just, like, mess about with that.
Might push him to be like, yeah, I should probably kill this guy. But assuming that doesn't happen, then Orochimaru would probably stick around in the Akatsuki for a little while. The most important aspect of this whole thing is how Minato's survival would affect Naruto. Since we're assuming that Kushina sealed the Nine Tails into herself to keep Minato from killing himself, this also means that Naruto would not have access to any of the power granted to him by the Nine Tails. Naruto won't have nearly as much trouble controlling his chakra, because he won't have to identify what parts of his chakra pool belong to him and what parts of his chakra pool belong to the Nine Tails. Kakashi also states that the Nine Tails is the reason for Naruto's erratic chakra control, which reads like the Nine Tails was intentionally making Naruto's life more difficult, but that's just my interpretation. In any case, without the Nine Tails to worry about, Naruto won't have as much trouble learning jutsu and the basic properties of chakra, how to control it, so on and so forth. Then, obviously, since Minato is still alive, Naruto won't have to train by himself before enrolling in the academy. On the contrary, his development as a ninja will be accelerated.
It would be so much better, wouldn't it?
By the presence of Minato in his home. Being able to train with this guy from a really young age is going to help Naruto a lot. And I don't feel like I need to explain why. Naruto seemed naturally inclined in a lot of abilities that Minato himself had access to. Shadow clones, the Rasengan, the summoning jutsu, and eventually, of course, even Sage mode. Now again, Naruto is clearly capable of learning how to use all of these things, because we saw him do it in the show. But the question becomes, how much earlier in his life would he learn these abilities? I feel like Minato's close brush with death would push him to train Naruto as hard as he can. So I don't think he'd hesitate to introduce a lot of high-level ideas to his son. Naruto would definitely graduate from the academy at a much younger age than he did originally. In the same vein, I think he would climb the shinobi ranks very quickly, given his skill and the resources provided to him, because you have to keep in mind he wouldn't just be training with Minato either. Minato would definitely ask Jiraiya for help with training his son, and would probably do the same thing with Kakashi. Even if Kakashi isn't made the Jonin responsible for supervising Naruto, I can totally see the two interacting given Kakashi and Minato's relationship, so one way or another Naruto's gonna end up becoming really powerful. The same is probably true for Sasuke, since Itachi would still be alive and in the village, and he also wouldn't have to worry about all of the coup stuff that left him so busy every time Sasuke asked to train together. Fugaku would also be a lot less preoccupied, since he wouldn't have to worry about the coup or the potential of an Uchiha clan massacre or anything like that. Sasuke would be able to train with his father more regularly as well, but that aside, I'm not entirely sure how this would affect him. Now, unless I'm missing anything, I don't think there's anything else to speculate about that doesn't require making a whole lot of assumptions. Things like, for example, after its reincarnation, whether or not the Nine Tails would be captured by the Leaf Village, the future activities of the Akatsuki, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's everything I planned on talking about. Let me know what you thought about the topic, if you think things would go differently, anything you think I missed. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this in the future, because I've gotten a little bit tired of doing just versus battles, and I'd like to talk about more hypotheticals that don't exclusively deal with people fighting each other. The conversation topics can still lead to fights happening. I'm okay with that. I just don't want the fight itself to be the core of the discussion. Anyway, again, let me know in the comments or in my Twitter mentions what you thought about the video, anything you would change. Let me know if you have any suggestions for any future videos, and as always, thanks for watching.
That was class. That was really cool. I do want to just point out as well, though, that on Naruto Explains channel, I think he's done a What If Minato Didn't Die video, and it's like half an hour long. So at some point I'll check that out, and it'd be interesting to see the difference between these two, what they actually go into, and if there's similar or, you know, stuff like that. But I did like that. That changes a lot of stuff, doesn't it? Like, oh my god. Changes loads of things. But yeah, cool. Thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you want to rate, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. I saw you guys next time.